afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today, Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Everybody's talking about Cinco de Mayo on Taco Tuesday. I don't have too many tacos, so it doesn't faze me. But how's everybody doing? Thanks for coming in. If you're on the Facebook side, please come over to YouTube. You can chat along with everybody. Everybody can see your chat. You can see theirs. Who knows? You might meet somebody new. So let's see who we have in the house. We got NASCAR Man 3345. How are you today? And this relates to everybody in here. Victim of the lag. How's it going, victim of the lag? Can't really read that. Nacho flipping business. All right, talk about getting creative, but that's cool. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Flippin' Frozen's in the house. Flippin' Frozen has been going absolutely bazonkers with the camera, doing all these unboxing videos and posting them everywhere. It's very cool. Very, very cool. Everybody's on the YouTube now, doing more videos, getting hours, getting subscribers. That's what it's all about. Who knows what's going to happen in a couple of weeks when more and more people go back to work. I don't know about where you guys are and gals, but here yesterday, the governor put together a slowly easing back to work. It's at 25% right now. So if you have a restaurant, you can open. Still no salons. Still no barbershops and sporting events. 25% of what you normally have. And if you have a restaurant, they want you to do most of it outside. So put tables in your parking lot, they said, or on the sidewalk, and do what you can. And a lot of people have been taking advantage of that. Going out to getting something to eat instead of being cooped up at home. And don't forget to tip if you're going to do that, because that's what they're living on, a lot of them. It's about to get reals in the house. Hey, Kim, how are you? Mike said, just got one of those offers that you have to think on. eBay offers, like, do I sell it this low and let it go, or do I counter with something? Uncle B's old school flips. How's it going? Saw you guys this morning on with Nate. Very cool. Penny Days here. Cindy Wise here. Happens to everyone. Yes, it does. Especially the first few days in May, because all the governors were taking all the bandwidth, reporting and doing lives for their states on how they were how May 1st was affecting their state, on what they were going to be doing. And the talk is now too that still Universal Studios, SeaWorld, Legoland, and Disney World are still no plans to open. They're going to revisit it at the end of May, which 3 more weeks. More unboxing to come. Yeah, eBay. Offers on eBay. So what's everybody else up to? I just got a message from somebody. I think maybe I did something wrong. It's getting to be a common thing here. Paul's doing something wrong. I don't know. I don't know. 8mm projector. Hold on, everybody. Sue wanted me to promote their auction. Excuse me. Yeah, don't forget Sue on this way I can get it right. Oh, maybe I can't. It just went away. Sue Backers Vintage. Do a search for Sue Backers Vintage. Her and Mr. Buys-A-Lot, they do an auction at 5 every day, not on YouTube, on Facebook. Excuse me. Vintage and paper goods, basically. And they do an auction every day at 5. 8mm projector, 20 under asking, but this person specializes in projectors. Did I miss something? Am I setting myself up for a return? Yeah, that's a concern. I hear people rumbling about getting scammed lately, maybe some more than others. You got to be careful with that. One thing to check in your description. Make sure everything that's wrong with it, every little nick, scratch, everything that you could see visually or that you know internally is written in there in the description. If you know it doesn't work or haven't tested it, make sure it says not tested. This way, there is no way they can return it. Because if it says, if they say, well, hey, it's scratched all over, and you say, well, no, it says it has scratches in the description, they can always return it. But this kind of defeats the argument from the beginning. If you put in the description right from the get-go, basically look at it as full disclosure. If you do that, right at the beginning, it kind of defeats them trying to put through for a return. Hope that makes sense. And Flippin' Frozen said she's going to do an unboxing from Brian, Mr. Buys-A-Lot. Hey, Gary, how are you? How is everybody? Hope I didn't miss anybody. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. As long as you're putting in everything into the description, and then above that description there, condition remarks, you should be able to combat the basic. Yes, they are. They are very good. No calories too, it says, and I'm sure it has sugar, but there's no calories. Oh, 10 calories. Sodium is not that bad at all. Carbs not that bad. No protein. That'd be cool. Anyway, so hopefully that makes sense. You put everything in the condition and in the description, and a lot of times that will fight off most of the return requests you're going to get. They can always make up something, but then you just call eBay and have them step in and say, well, no, listen, look, it says right there in the description that it's got a scratch, it's got a dent, it's not working. They didn't test it. You got to do your due diligence when you buy these things. Needs a new bulb, which is disclosed. And the orange plastic bag rubber band is broken, but that is due to age, and it's in the picture. Well, make sure you put everything else. Put in scratches. Put in, well, it's too late because you already got an offer. But you can always decline the offer first and then go back. And then fix all your description. Due to age, it's got some wear and tear. The color's fading. Due to age, it has not been tested. The color on the cabinet is facing. The case is a little warped. It's got a crack here. Anything and everything you could think of, put it in there. Just put it in there. And then they make up their mind if they want to buy it or not. They want to go ahead with it or not. If it's a good deal and they're a collector and maybe they just want it for parts, they'll do it. Has original box and styro parts. Excellent. Excellent. Did you include an 8mm film with it? You know, the small little Castle films? I used to get them when I was a kid. You can always, you know, not take his offer. Go through the listing, make sure everything's correct. If you didn't put a film in it, maybe you could add one. If you don't have any, pick up a cheap one on eBay and add one. My favorite was Creature from the Black Lagoon. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm pretty sure it was old Castle films. So just a little something to set you apart from everybody else. Hey, Philly Picker, how you doing? But you could probably pick one up. Mike, you probably pick one up on eBay cheap, Amazon cheap. It's worth it. It's worth the shot anyway. It is worth the shot. So you saw the title that I put in the for the chat is right here. Let me just share the screen again. I did a forbearance. What did I agree to? So you did a forbearance. What did you agree to? Excuse me. Anyone in the chat right now, just type yay or a nay. Did you do a forbearance the last 2 months? If anybody did a forbearance is for your mortgage. If you did a forbearance, put a yay or a nay in the chat. Nobody's answering. Bobby, nope. Gary rents, no problem. No, already have one on for student loans. No. Okay. Victim of the lag, yeah. Well, many banks were offering them. Many banks were offering them when the world ended 2 months ago now. And I had talked about it when it first started happening because you had to call in and you had to request it. And sometimes you had to fill out all this paperwork. Sometimes you didn't. You just had to request it. And most of them made you go on their website and request it on there. And basically all it is, a forbearance is, excuse me, they're taking the current month's mortgage and the next month's mortgage payment and however long that you have an agreement for, and they put them on the end of the loan. So a lot of people that I know of or that I heard about, they did this. Asked for a beer once. Okay. They did this, and after the first payment was due and missed because they thought they were on the forbearance, their next payment came due and it was for twice the amount. So now what's going to happen? they're going to get June 1st, they're going to get another bill. Okay, that's cool, Bobby. That's good. In June, they're going to get, no problem, Uncle B, Jimmy, no problem. In June, they're going to get another bill. And that's going to have 3 months payments on it. So the banks are hoping that everybody's going to get back to work by June and they'll be able to pay their bills again. They'll be able to pay their bills, most of the people, their regular bills, not 3 months of mortgage payments, 3 months of rent payments, 3 months of car payments, all that stuff. They're not going to be able to pay them all at once in 90 days. So a lot of people that did these, July 1st, 4 payments are due. See that, like Victim of the Lag just said. I didn't pay for March. My forbearance is for April, May, and June. July 1st, they want 4 payments due. That is not a forbearance. A forbearance, they take whatever's agreed upon, and you can't just let it. An agreement is just like, hi, Bank of America, hi, Chase, hi, whatever. I am laid off because of what happened. The world fell apart. I got laid off. I can't pay my mortgage for this month. Now, the end of the month, you call back and say, listen, now I'm furloughed and there's no telling when I'm going back to work. So I need to do a forbearance. Okay, just don't make your next payment. There won't be any late charges and we'll do that. No, I want it in writing. I need it in writing. You got to have to give it to me in writing. And that's the only way you do it. And when that comes back, you should get it within 7 days. When they give you that letter, it should say any missed payments up to July 1st will be due at the end of the note, at the maturity of the note. So if you have 300 payments left, now, hi Lisa C, how are you? If you have 300 payments left, and I'm just talking a typical, or 100 payments left, a typical 30-year mortgage, now you're going to have 33 or 303 left. They all go at the end of the mortgage. But like what Victim of the Lag said, he didn't pay March. He didn't pay. He's not going to pay. He didn't pay April. He's not going to pay May. He's not going to pay June. His bank in July wants all 4 payments. That is crazy. That's going to cause more people to get in more trouble than they are now. So a lot of people are thinking there's the next real estate bubble right there. That's going to happen. The people are not going to be able to pay 3 payments at once, 4 payments at once. Are they going to do a no-cost refi for these people? That's going to be doubtful. It would be great if they did, but the banks want their money, so it's very doubtful that they'll do a no-cost refi. But Victim of the Lag, you should call your bank and find out. It's still in May, so now you're only on your 3rd, but tell them, say, listen, this was supposed to be a real forbearance. In July, I don't want to have to make 4 payments. There's no way I can make 4 payments. If your mortgage is $1,000 a month, now they want $4,000 the first week of the month. That's crazy. So you got to talk to them. Everybody should talk to them. 585 months, so I'm glad I put a huge down payment. That's what's valuable info for somebody definitely in the know. You know, it's good. Not everybody is able to do that, Lisa. That is very good. You know, there's a lot of people, even vets, you know, if you're a veteran, you get to buy a house 0% down. Hardly anybody does that because you don't you're not going to have equity fast. You're not going to build up equity fast, and these people, there's still people out there that have a interest only loan. I still know a couple of people, they got interest only loans 10 years ago. Their principal has not dropped at all. They've been paying just the interest for the last 10 years. That's it. So if they bought their house for 300,000, 10 years later, they still owe 300,000. That's also crazy. Yep, that's the way to do it, Lisa. I did the same thing. I put like 50% down and did the same thing. But some people need to pay off other debt or whatever, and that's the way they do it. But yeah, if you the same thing with your landlord. If you rent and you made an agreement, you got to make sure that excuse me, at the end of this, they're not going to look for all the back rent on that next month. So if your rent is $1,000 and you don't pay for 2 months, rent in California is $3,400 a month. Holy crap. Oh, that's right. You're in the San Diego area. And that does $3,400 a month. That doesn't include parking. You have to make sure that, in 2 months, they're not going to look for the 2 months back rent all at once, especially if the landlord got a forbearance, because then basically he's double dipping, which is illegal. Can't double dip no matter what. So I just wanted to bring that topic up because I know there's a lot of people. Like I said earlier today, I was talking to Nate. Well, no, I was in the chat with Nate on his show, and they were talking about how after this is all done, what's going to happen to reselling online and how is it going to change and all that stuff. And here I am thinking, people, like Nate was saying, people got those stimulus checks, and he saw a lot of people just buying big screen TVs and stuff like that. I saw very little of that. I didn't see much of that at all here. But it's going to be, it might be a big, wide eye opener when June 1st comes and we're only at 50%. Or, excuse me, July 1st comes and we're only at 50%. And now the banks are saying, we got to start calling these loans and calling these things due. They want to do refis for people, but people don't want to go through a refi because it's closing cost on a refi is $5,000. So they just made it more money, and they could it's all their game. They could throw any wrench in the works they want. So it's all their game. And where's that? Victim of the lag wrote something in here that I didn't get yet. He said, I had credit card debt, paid off all my credit cards and saving a ton of interest. At the end of 4 months, I will put the money back on the credit cards. I am getting mortgages and cards % free. I guess you could do that. But you had credit card debt. Your credit cards, yeah. Your mortgage interest is, depending on when you bought your house, victim of the lag, your mortgage interest rate has got to be under 6%. Your credit card rate, unless you have supreme credit, is got to be probably over 10%. So you're thinking, just think about the way you're thinking. You're going to take 3 mortgage payments and use your credit card to pay those, but you're costing yourself more money because instead of the 5 or 6%, now you're going to pay 10, 12, 13%. It might be just better to, if your rate is 6% on your mortgage or over, you are far better to refinance, because right now you could, today, if you did it today, you could get a rate under 4%. As long as you could save 2% interest, it's worth it to refi. And as long as you're going to stay in that house for over 5 years, because that'll take care of your cost involved in that. So, but yeah, anybody, if your mortgage rate is over 6%, and I talk about this, I know I'm supposed to talk about reselling and stuff. I thought about this today when they were talking about how reselling is going to change when all this is over. I've been dealing with this for the last 16 years being a real estate broker. And yeah, if your interest rate is over 6% today, you are much better to refi your mortgage. I don't say take cash out. I definitely don't say use your house as a piggy bank. I would just refi at a lower rate. And as long as you're saving 2% interest, your payment could go down a couple $100. Yeah, I don't think you think lenders are going to tighten up on refis considering our new situation? I don't think so, Lisa, because they're still selling homes. Things are still selling. Homes are still closing, and refis, they're still doing a bang up business on refis. So yeah, I don't think they would tighten up on anything right now. Although who knows, things could change tomorrow with that. But yeah, I don't. Mortgage of 2.2. Wow, that's a fantastic rate. I still say you're better off talking to the bank and find out about a real forbearance. That way, you just have your mortgage again. No more dealing with credit card interest and all that stuff. If they do a forbearance, you would be golden, because then all you owe is July's payment and your regular bills, and you go from there. Don't have to worry about coming up with 4 months of payments all at once. Housing prices in my hood are up 2% last month. Wow. Yeah, it's not bad. Real estate's always going to go up. I mean, granted, what happened in 07 hopefully won't happen again. But real estate is with the cyclical, they call it. So my neighborhood here, the prices could go up a little, but a community across the street, it could go down a little. Up the street could go up a little, down the street could go down a little. There's so many things that factor in: traffic, schools, and all that stuff. So yeah. Yeah, Australia property values tanked because of this, and they were already in trouble because of wildfires. Yep. Yeah, that will do. Everything takes the notes from everything else. Wildfires, well, that's going to cause this to happen. And yeah. Yep. So it is tough. It is really hard. Even like, God forbid, the hurricanes. And then you had that tornado that went through, Kentucky and stuff, and ruined them. Hey, Donna, how are you? So that all makes a difference. That all takes it takes its toll. Like I said, my community, the prices may go up a little, but the next community down, the prices may go down a little. I can remember when I first started, not to mention a certain builder, but there was a certain builder that had a community, and you could go on Facebook. This builder's name sucks. That was the title of the website. And because everybody was going to that and putting in complaints, anybody could have bought on there, but nobody would. Nobody would, because of all the complaints and the shoddy work and the stucco was coming off the walls. But yeah, so it is crazy. But seriously though, look at your bank. Instead of having to worry about, hey, in July I have to pay 4 payments. Find out if you could do a real forbearance, and it's definitely worth it. And are we going to get back to normal with this when this all happens and stuff? Like I said, right now we're at 25% back to normal. 25%. I don't know about everybody else, but I think the sourcing for reselling right now is good compared to what it is or was before. Before, you had to go to Goodwill, you had to go to estate sales, you have online auctions, you have this, you have that. Today, like Dolly was saying on one of, be careful. Like Dolly was saying on one of my earlier shows, she gets up first thing in the morning and she starts sourcing on Facebook Marketplace. I think what happened with this leveled the playing field, because now I can go to an estate sale anywhere, including New Hampshire or Massachusetts, right from my desktop. And if I see something I like, if you go to estatesales.net, it says buy now, because they're allowing you to buy right on their site. So if I see something I like and I make a deal and it's up in New Hampshire, I say, my son, hey, can you go pick this up for me? I paid for it already. And then just ship it to me. Or if it's local around here, I'll buy it and I'll just go. Whereas before, when you went to an estate sale, you had to be one of the first 10 people in line, get a number, fight the person elbow to elbow to go to that room to find out where that item was in the picture to buy it. So I kind of like it, thrift stores now are online. You could buy from thrift stores online. The online auctions, like Donna's in the house here, they do auctions, we do auctions. If you go on Facebook, if you're into comics, there must be 10, 20 comic guys any time of day and night selling comics. And look at Mr. Buys a Lot and look at Sue Backer. They deal in old paper and posters. If you deal in, or if you want to deal in, and you like China, there's people that sell glass in China. There's people that sell what are they called? The insulators, the old antique vintage insulators. There's a site for cast iron. What does she auction? Who? Victim of the lag. Sue Backer, it's paper, so it's posters, it's old postcards, it's old advertising memorabilia, old magazines. What I'm getting to now, what I'm getting to is, if you specialize in something, chances are you can find it and you can find an outlet to buy it. So personally, for me, I know Nate and Uncle Bees, you're still in the house, right? They were talking, how is this going to change when we can all go back 100%? Will we ever be 100%? Maybe not until they get that. Somebody help me here. Just drew a blank. Until they get the injection, for the virus, so immunize everybody. But I don't know. I mean, Dolly Dolly, if you don't know who Dolly is, Dolly. She's a nurse, so she hasn't been on in a while. Vaccine. Thank you, Mike. She's been making masks, and her hours for being a nurse, as you can imagine, have upped a lot. And I applaud her for that. I mean, truck drivers, all these people that are out helping and supporting the cause, basically, they all need a round of applause. Yeah, see, Gary said the same thing. Nothing will be back to normal for a long time. Just my opinion. My opinion is, what's going to be the normal? You know, um, they're already talking here in Florida that if you have a restaurant that has 100, 200 seat capacity, the new code may be 75% of that. So all of a sudden, you don't have as many tables, so now you have to turn those tables more to get more money. So that's the thing. What's going to be the new norm? Sure, I would love to go to Outback or the other steakhouse I love, because I'd love a good steak. Do I want to right away? No, not at all. I would love to go take a trip. Do I want to fly? Absolutely not. I mean, my wife works at the airport. I personally feel Florida would not have been as bad if they shut the airports down completely, at least for the first week. Because look how many people came into Orlando. Look how many people came in. Donna, are you still in the house? Look how many people came into Fort Lauderdale and Miami from all over. And I know it's not reported a lot, but my wife lost 5 people, passed away from the virus, worked at the airport. So, if I think personally, maybe Florida might have not been as bad if they had stopped all the flights, at least for a week, maybe 2. I mean, they shut down international flights, I think too late, but you can't talk about if it happened, when it happened, could it have happened. Now it's just we got to deal with it. Cruise ships too. You're right, Lisa. Exactly. I mean, the last cruise we took was 5 years ago. We went to Italy, and every time we left and came on the boat, there was the people there, the cruise ship people, giving us the sanitizer and stuff, and making us do that. Going into every restaurant, they were there. That was 5 years ago. So I don't know. It makes you wonder. Wow. Well, see, Gary, what Gary said, there's a unfortunate incident there. I have a friend in San Diego. Hey, Jerry, how are you? I have a friend in San Diego who owns 8 Denny's restaurants, and he said they're done. He will never reopen his restaurant. It's sad. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Anybody that's going to lose their business. It's awful. I mean, when you own your own business, you pour your own blood, sweat, and tears and money into your own business, and now something like this happens, and you're devastated. I mean, I'm sorry if this, my talking here is bringing everything down, bringing everybody down. When I was listening to the guys this morning, it's like, how is this going to be? What's the norm going to be? And how's this going to be? And I'm thinking to myself, we won't know until June and July comes, when these banks, how are these banks going to act to the people that they have let do a phony forbearance or whatever, and now they're going to demand 4 payments, 3 payments from them, and they don't have that. Are we going to have a flood of foreclosures again? And because I don't know when they're going to start evictions and foreclosures again. They had stopped it. but they could start it again. I like this kind of talking. It's real talk. Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I put my own take onto it because, everybody's talking, well, yeah, it's going to be wonderful. We'll go back to work and everything but anytime something bad happens, there's something or someone out there to try to take advantage of it. And we all have to be careful and have to be mindful of things like that. Class action lawsuits. I understand that some of the car loan people were also saying that, hey, we're allowing you to miss 3 payments or whatever. All this stuff is great. All this stuff sounds excellent. We're allowing you to miss 3 payments. We're allowing you to miss the next 3 payments. We're allowing you not to pay the next 3 payments. Fantastic. Give it to me in writing. That's your response. That should be your first response. Not, okay, thank you very much. Click. Give it to me in writing, because July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever, is going to come. And you're going to get a call from the bank or the lender, and they're going to say, hey, your 4 payments are due right now. How do you want to take care of that? Well, no, you said that I didn't have to. And, oh, who told you that? I don't know. The person on the other end of the phone. We need to see proof. You don't have any. Worst case scenario, get a text message, save it onto your desktop. Urgent, do not delete. Things like that. I said toll workers will be out of work because they haven't been using them since it happened. Usually got to pay the piper. Is Lodge getting bailed out? Yeah, I hate that. Large companies getting bailed out. But yeah. And that's always going to happen. Like the last time when they bailed out Ford and GMC. Ford, the oldest automaker in the world, and they bailed them out. Makes no sense whatsoever. Makes no sense whatsoever. They need to, but then what are they going to do? Because it's a catch-22. It's like back home we had the blue laws where you couldn't be open Sundays unless you sold milk and bread. Well, all of a sudden they abolished that. They said, no, we pay rent 30 days out of the month, so we should be able to be open 30 days out of the month. And there went the family values and everything. So now everybody sells milk and bread. So it's a catch-22. You can't, it sucks. It definitely sucks. It sucks right now to be a small business person, especially with employees. But as a small business person, which I'm seeing in the chat, I believe most of us here, either if it's not your full-time gig, it's your part-time gig, it's your side hustle or whatever, you're a online business entrepreneur. You make money somehow, some of it online with online sales. We have to adapt. Anytime you're in your own business, and I've been in my own business since 1979. I opened my first shop in 1979. And things were thrown at me left and right, as they are with any business. Nothing like this. I think the most would be a blizzard where we had to close for 2 days. Nothing we had to close for a month. An entrepreneur has to adapt. You have to adapt to the changes. You have to adapt. What can I do different? How can I do different? What can I do to get more sales? It's the same thing we all think about all day long as an entrepreneur. Lisa said she likes to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's about all we can do. They gave me a case number and got a follow-up letter. Good. Keep that letter, man. Or woman. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. I'm sorry. But so what else? What else is anybody? What else do you have on your mind? I know in New Hampshire, my buddy has a shop in New Hampshire. He's saying that May 11th, New Hampshire is going to open up for business. So next Monday, they're allowing them to open up little by little for business. Sold 3 postal scales today, so we're going to have more reseller competition. Sorry, traffic outside. I live in a small half cul-de-sac, so it's odd when you see people pull up and it's like, you don't live here. So if we get more competition is good because it's like that little kick in the tuchus that we all need. Say, hey, my sales went down a little because there's more people selling what I have. So what do I have to do? Well, I have to get more stuff that most people don't have. Or I have to market my stuff a little differently. Like, goes back to Mike, what we were talking about earlier. He's selling that 8mm projector. Okay, maybe if other people have it, include an 8mm film with it. I was a kid. I used to buy the 8mm. I had a projector. I used to buy, I'm pretty sure they were Castle films. Creature from the Black Lagoon was one of my favorites. They were just real small reels. Pick up a couple. They were inexpensive. Price more competitive. But what can you do before you hit price? Price more competitive. Now you're making less money. Castle Films, yep. So before price competitive, Mike, should be the last thing you think of cutting. Because you're cutting your price, you're cutting your profit margin. What can I do to add more value to what I'm selling? What can I do to make my product, myself as a seller, stand out more than my competition? And I just look at this because I think of it as a retail person, because I've been in retail 90% of my life. And that's what you have to do. Remember, well, maybe you don't remember in the old days, Coke and Pepsi, their commercials would name each other in their commercials for I think about a year, 2 years, and then it stopped. But they would actually name each other in their commercials. I thought that was so cool. In the mid-'80s, I started doing it. I named my competition in my newspaper ads. I said, compare us to them. And I had their name right there in the ad. They got pissed. Nothing you could do about it because I didn't lie at all. I do this, you don't do this. I give this, you don't give this. Bang, 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 all the way down the line, about 10, 15 lines. They were pissed. But competition. I say at times like this, you need sometimes to take a small loss just to move product and put money in your pocket instead of just sitting there. That's true too. In a sense, that is true. But it shouldn't be the first thing that we think about. It shouldn't be, well, I can beat them with price. But that's just me. You the guys do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I've done in the past and what I try to do. I just try to add value, or, do a wholesale search. Look at me now at my auctions. I have been selling stuff for 50 cents a piece. Granted, some of the retail's only $3.99, $4.99, whatever. I got a fantastic wholesale deal on it. And I've been re-wholesaling it out, still at wholesale prices, to you guys. What happens if you were to buy one? Let's say this is one. This is a case, all right? Let's say you bought this from me, from anyone, and you got it for 75 cents or $1. Now, all of a sudden, you put in your ad, free gift with a purchase from me, or, you're going to get this, and I'm going to throw this in because I'm doing this for my customer appreciation month. $5 value, you're going to get it for free. That might sway me to buy from you instead of buying from somebody else. It's marketing, which I love marketing. And, we got to think that by price is not the way to go. Yeah, see, now Jerry does that. People question my prices on posters. I send them to Cinemasterpieces. Absolutely. Because people that are looking may not know about, well, hey, why is that poster $1,000? What are you, crazy? No, because this, because that. There's gold, 14 karat gold outlay on the side of this, and whatever. All right. Well, then, interesting when somebody starts a sentence with, well, then. Let's talk about things that can sometimes outweigh price when it comes to selling similar products. I think I just did that. Add something of value. I got back my top rated seller. I have a good rating on Amazon. I ship within 24 hours. You can see Lisa saying right here, I've had really good luck lately with offers paying. When I make my counter, if I put in you pay me today, this will go out to you tomorrow. See? You got to sell yourself, your service. Why should we buy from you? Yep. Hey, Swamp Picker. Thanks for coming in. If I missed anybody, sorry, but thank you for coming in, spending some time with me here. I know I've missed the first 4 days of my show on, as I'm doing 4 o'clock now, and my neck, it's been a bear for me to handle a couple of days. And I'm going to go see the surgeon again Friday, so hopefully I'll get some news, maybe. But I do have on my 4 o'clock shows. Oh, yeah. I forget who it was that meant when I asked for a name, for people to help me with a name for the show, somebody said the main event. Was that you, Swamp Picker, or I forget who? Can't use that because that's copywritten, and I don't need a lawsuit. So I did check on it. But I'm thinking of just going with Live with Paul Antonelli. I know it's boring or whatever, but yes, it was Swamp Picker. Thank you, Swamp Picker. I do love it, but it is copywritten. Wednesday, tomorrow, I'm going to do a linens. Hey, Debbie. Debbie, come over to the YouTube channel and join in. I think everybody knows Debbie from the thrifting board. Wednesday, tomorrow, I am going to do an auction. I'm going to make a couple of the shows every week an auction. And then the rest of them will be the regular talk show. The 18th and 19th, I believe, I have inventory. 18th and 19th, two. It's a part one and part two with Inventory Lab to talk about Inventory Lab, what it can do for you if you want to start selling on Amazon. I've had my Amazon account for, I think, 7 years. Did a little bit. It was always a pain in the tuchus. It took too long. Hated it. So then I got Inventory Lab, and night and day, night and day. Now it's a pleasure to list things on Amazon. So they're going to come on, explain that. And then hopefully the end of the month, I'll have Nay come on. Nay is from the Thrifting Board also. She is like the queen of Poshmark and all these other sites. Hey, 9 Pound, how are you? Thanks for coming in. So Nay, I've been trying to get Nay on the show for a while. And hey, Deb, thanks for coming over. Deb's from the Thrifting Board also. If you're not a member of the Thrifting Board, go check it out. That's Jason T. Smith. And Nay is going to come on and do a two-part show with me on, because a lot of people, need to start selling, cross-posting and this and that. I don't know, Penny. I don't know what that link is. Just reach out to him, 9 Pound. I'm sure he'll do it. If not, I'll send him your email if he needs it. But watching Jason Thrift Hunters, the TV show, several years ago, because I've been doing eBay now since before it was eBay, and I've always done it back and forth. I've always, even since I moved here to Florida, became a real estate broker. I listed properties on eBay. It's not a definite sale, but it was good for marketing. It's good to get eyes on it. So I've always done eBay. I like it. It's fun. It's like the thrill of the hunt, that type of stuff. So we started to watch Thrift Hunters when the show came out, and it got me back into it again. Like, we should put more effort into this, my wife, Sandra. And we did, and the rest is history, basically. Then he started to do the Thrifting Board, and I spoke to Jason also about coming on sometime. Thank you, Jerry. And he said yes, that he would come on too, because he's a wealth of information. And that's what I wanted to do when I was on the show at 9 in the morning. I tried to get guests, and everybody's thing was, well, 9 in the morning is 6 o'clock here on the West Coast, and a little early. So that's why I moved it to 4. And then I figured I'd do a couple auctions. So Wednesday is vintage linens. I still have a ton of vintage linens, that I'm going to put up some tomorrow. I could probably go on for hours and hours and hours with that. And then Friday, my buddy John's going to come back on again, and we'll do kind of a comic shop roundup again with pops and comics and collectibles and that type of stuff. And then I'm sure we'll get Jerry back on again someday this week with more movie posters, because everybody likes his movie posters. We're still looking to get a buyer for that $1,000 Jaws poster he has. Right, Jerry? He may take $9.90 for it now, since it didn't sell for $1,000 the other day. Who knows? Maybe we'll get where is she still on here? Debbie on. Debbie's a wealth of information too. She helps Jason all the time on his show. Jason does a show also. But it's like everybody's doing a show lately, although Jason's been doing his a lot longer than I have. Oh, that's right. Debbie's into books. Yeah. That's what it's all about, networking, networking, networking. But hey, I hope I didn't bore anybody with the talk about forbearance and stuff. I don't want to see anybody get ripped off or get in trouble. I used to tell people when I was real hot into real estate, I learned and then I became a trainer on, and there's Jason. Speak of the devil. Hey, Jason, how are you? When I was really into the real estate stuff and it was my main source of income, I specialized in short sales, helping people with short sales. And I saved, I think over 1,200 families from the bank, from foreclosure in 3 years, which is a lot. And I don't want to see anybody get burned. I hate it when the bank wins. And when this stuff started happening and they're saying to people, you could do a forbearance and people are taking advantage of it, I don't want you to find out, because we're a small community of resellers here. And I don't want you to find out that what you're agreeing to was not right, was not true. That in the 3 months or whatever, they're going to ask for all 3 or 4 payments all at once. That's not a forbearance. So that's why I wanted to talk about this a little more, because there's still time. It's May. It's early May. You still have a chance to call the bank and say, listen, I know we agreed to a forbearance. I just want to make sure it's a forbearance and not what you think is a forbearance. You're going to put all missed payments at the end of this loan for me, right? I want it in writing, right? And I'm sorry if I'm harping on this, but you need to do this. You need to tell the bank, I want a real forbearance. There is no way I'm going to be able to pay 4 mortgage payments July 1st all at once. I want you to put those missed payments on the other side of the end of the loan, and I want it in writing. If not, if we can't agree to that, I want a low cost or no cost refinance at the going rate. So if you're at 6%, go for the refi, because depending on your credit, because it all goes by your credit, you should be able to get something in the mid 3s, maybe high 3s. As long as you're saving 2% and you're going to stay in the house for 5 years, it's worth it. It is worth the cost. And then they could roll the cost into the mortgage anyway. So you probably only have to put $500 or $600 out of your pocket for that. And, but like I said, hey, cool comic guy. How you doing? Now, there you go. There's a good right there. There's a good one right there. Refied 5.25 to 3.8. That's great. That is great. Anything under 6% is fantastic. It is fantastic. That we're in beautiful price ranges now to buy a house or anything like that, because the prices on the interest rates are just so great. I mean, I bought my first commercial building, just where my store was, in 85. I think I paid 18% interest at that time. So anything under 6% is a deal. But like I said, I'm sorry if I'm harping on this too much. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. And we need to look out for each other. Going back to Uncle B's thing and Nate's this morning, what's the norm going to look like? And my thing is, I want to see if, because the real estate market affects everything. If the real estate market crashes, that has a huge effect on retail, because people, like 14 years old, because people they're not buying houses. Why are they not buying houses, for one thing? And then people hitting on my age now. In other words, when you buy a house, the reason that affects everything is because you're buying a house. Great. Now what happens to those people that buy a house? What are they going to do? They're going to buy new furniture. They're going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot to fix it up. So now they need employees. They're not going to lay off employees because there's no houses being sold. Jason, there's the key word. You should italicize that some. It's there, but it's some. So real estate affects everything. So when they say, what's this going to be like, when this is all done, as long as the banks are not going to screw people over saying, we need all your missed payments through this virus thing now, we'll be okay. Because people, hopefully they'll all get back to work. They'll start making money again. If they're going to have to worry that, hey, I can't pay 4 payments, we got to dump this house for whatever we can get for it, or the bank's going to take it. You definitely don't want that, because then we'll be back to 2007 again, and nobody wants that. Well, some people want that. I mean, I'm still a real estate broker, and you'd be surprised how many people say, you have any more of those $30,000 condos? No. That was a long time ago, and we're way past that. Those are 130,000 now. Should have bought it in 2007, 2008. So anyway, like I said, hey, I don't want to harp on it. Just be careful. Make your calls. Call your lenders. Make sure you're on the right path. As long as we do it, I can't do it for everybody, but as long as we take care of ourselves, we'll be okay. And then you'll have your story to tell everybody else when somebody else comes up to you and says, hey, I'm doing a forbearance. Really? Did you do a right one? Why? What do you mean? Well, I called mine and it wasn't right until I called him and got it in writing. So then you could help somebody else. So, but yeah, so hopefully we'll all come out of this okay, and everything will be hunky-dory again. Hopefully it was hunky-dory for a lot of people. But yeah, so I'll be, making some more appointments with people. And like I said, Jason's on here now, and we'll get him on to talk about his story. Like I said, if it wasn't for Jason and Thrift Hunters, I can tell you, if you haven't seen Thrift Hunters, you can still download it. You can still watch it online. I loved it because they would go into a store and they would come out, and the catchphrase that Sandy and I used to do after we got back into it is, I spent $50 at Goodwill and I should be able to make $150. So Sandy and I would go into a store. San, we just spent $30. I think I could make $50. So cool. Yeah, definitely, Jason. Definitely. Wow, you just got your stimulus check. Very cool, Deb. Very cool. Well, I'm gonna cut it here. I normally it's supposed to go on for an hour. Thank you everybody for coming in. Hopefully you're all subscribed to the channel. I did send out an email and about this week. So hopefully you're on the email list. I promoted tomorrow's show all about the auction for all the vintage linens. And then Friday's auction is going to be with my buddy John at Federation Comics. So we're going to do basically a comic book store auction. Pops. A lot of people want pops. And like I say, today's pops are tomorrow's Beanie Babies. So we'll have a lot of pops. So thank you again, everybody. I hope I gave you some good information. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the chat. Thanks, Deb and Jason, for coming in and meeting the people. And you already know all the people, but said hi to everybody. So yeah, oh, Debbie, definitely. Definitely. I'll send. Well, you have my links and everything, Deb. So once again, thank you everybody for coming in. I will see everybody tomorrow. Same here, Jason. Thanks everyone. If you have any comments or whatever, anything you're looking for in particular, put it in the comment section as soon as the video is done, and I will look at it and respond as soon as possible. Thanks everybody. Bye.